This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
At Designer Shoe Warehouse, we believe that shoes are an important part of, well, everything.
From first steps to first dates, from all-nighters to all-time personal bests.
From building pillow forts to building a life.
For all the big and small moments that make up your whole world, DSW is there. And we've got just the shoes. Find a shoe for every you from brands you love at brag-worthy prices at your DSW store or DSW.com.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.
Bonus Bucks is back on KFAN, and we have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. To enter keywords and learn more, head to KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks is presented by BigDeck.com.
Dane Moore, Paul Allen, how are things?
What's up, man? Things are good. Things are good. Back in Minnesota for Game 5 today.
How has this travel schedule hit you? I mean, it's from Boston to Denver and every Los Angeles and Bay Area city in between. It's again, we're some would say Champaign problems, Western suburb problems here, but nevertheless, it's been a little arduous, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, but I'll take it to watch good basketball. It's been fun. I got a little bit of a cold though, so that might be a factor going on.
You hanging out with Finchie and Julius Randle and getting a little too close, and you came down with that sinus infection, Dane Moore?
I guess so. No, I am not invited to hang out with Finchie and Julius Randle.
Dane Moore at Dane Moore NBA via X. Please follow him, as 9 to Noon does. Elite, high-end video footage with breakdowns and just a wonderful, wonderful Twitter site when it comes to the Wolves and the NBA. Also, the Dane Moore NBA podcast. Listen to that. The most recent one after game number 4, I believe, was with Britt Robson. And tonight, about 8:37, Wolves and Warriors could be a closing time Wednesday for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Do you see it that way? Do you expect closing time tonight for the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah, I've expected. I think we talked about this last week. I think I said I thought it was. I was with Sinekin. I said I thought it was over after the second game. There's just too big of an offensive gap here between these two teams, especially with Jimmy not really being able to hit that, 35, 40-point game threshold. It's hard to see Golden State get to 100 points unless the Wolves are just like turning the ball over a bunch and letting the Warriors get out in transition. I think the talent gap's too big here. This is a Warriors team that's built around Steph Curry and a lot of players who I think are good players, but who are a lot better in the context of Steph Curry. You remove them, I mean, these are just kind of some ridiculous lineups from the Warriors where it's 3-4 guys out there who can't shoot. They're trying hard defensively. They're a good defensive team, but I just see an offensive gap here to be too big. I'd expect the Wolves, take care of it tonight.
You think? Does Jimmy Butler look tired? I mean, he kind of fell apart in that fourth quarter of Game 3, and he's a distributor first. I mean, we know that. That's what he wants to do. He hates shooting threes, but he's having to shoot some now. But do you sense that he's fatigued?
I think he just can't go at Jaden McDaniels like he can go at a lot of other guys around the league. I mean, playoff Jimmy has obviously been an incredible player, but largely what playoff Jimmy is, I mean, you've stood around Jimmy Butler before. Like, he's a big guy. He's like 6'7", 6'8". He's looking to hunt smaller players out there, and we saw that in Game 3. He kind of was hunting Dante DiVincenzo for a while when DiVincenzo was out there. But with Jaden McDaniels on him, man, Jaden's just one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, just period, or just defenders in the league.
Right.
He has the ability to slow Jimmy down out there. And is Jimmy tired? Some, sure. Is there too much usage on his plate? Sure. But Jimmy Butler was terrible in the last game. He scored 14 points in 34 minutes, and they lost those 34 minutes by 30 points. Jimmy Butler's got nothing in this series, man. This is. We've been waiting for playoff Jimmy. You've been waiting for all this. I think everybody's been expecting, I don't know, something scary to happen in this series. But Steph Curry went out, and then the series was over. That's the way I viewed it all along.
Right. Hey, and the game he went out, that first game, I mean, what a disaster for the Timberwolves. You know, I think they had 31 points at halftime, something like that. Even without Steph playing basically 3/4 of the game. So, Chris, Coach Finch was on 9 to Noon yesterday, and we're talking about potential days off, or what it was like having all those days off up to this series. And he said that, you know, if they get that opportunity again, well, then he would change some things. And any idea like what you saw in that first game where it was like, whoa, I mean, I know they missed 1 million threes, but they did the same thing in the final Lakers game and still won. That eye-opening first game, what do you think went wrong?
I think it takes Ant and Julius a while to figure out how they're guarding them. You know, Julius has been incredible in this postseason, but his two worst games of the postseason are game one against the Lakers. Remember, he had 7 turnovers in that game, was clearly feeling his way through it. And then game one against the Warriors was the same way, higher turnover game for Julius Randle. Ant is out there, you know, to start of game one of both series being like, you know, what, how are they going to guard me? Where's the double team coming from in this one? So I think a big thing for this team, particularly Ant and Julius, is figuring out where the defense is coming from. And frankly, like, they're typically a little slow in figuring that out. That when they do, you get to where they've been the rest of this series, which is attacking mismatches, understanding where Draymond Green's help is coming from, and finding ways to score through that. I think that's why Game 4 the other night was as successful as it was. Didn't Ant look like he was in a rhythm of understanding what the Warriors were doing? Obviously, Julius was as well. It just takes a little bit of time, I think, for this still kind of young group. Right.
And in that game, you tweeted, and I know you've seen it before, but nevertheless, what compelled you to tweet you finding a direct correlation in Game 4 between Ant's defensive effort and his offensive production? What does that mean?
Well, I thought Ant came out super lazy in the first half of game 4. You know, just defensively, he wasn't, you know, locked in off ball whatsoever. I remember Draymond Green had above the break 3 that came after Ant didn't get a defensive rebound, just kind of lazily there. They kicked it out to Draymond, hit a 3. One time he was also in the first quarter. Gary Payton was open in the corner. Ant didn't close out. Another time in the first quarter, another 3. He fell over, taking a layup on the other side, and didn't run back. I mean, and when Ant's doing that, that's how you kind of you give oxygen to a team who's kind of suffocating offensively. That is Gary Payton, Draymond Green, whatever. Like, if Ant's providing effort, he can limit all of those guys with his defense. And so what I think happened in the second half is he came out dialed in defensively, and he's such a great athlete that, like, it doesn't totally kill his energy or whatever. If he activates himself defensively, I often have seen that translate over to the offensive side of the floor. And I thought he did that in the second half of both games against the Warriors after, I don't know what's going on with him, man. There's kind of this, like, I feel like he needs something to get him going, right? Steph's not out there to start these games. He said Kuminga dunking on him the other night got him going, and then he went off after that. But Ant started slow, and where you see that slowness, I think, is often defensively with him. And this team needs to rest on being a great defensive team. He needs to be part of the great defense. When he is, okay, now you got a great defense, and you got Ant going off on offense. And now you're talking about one of the best teams in the NBA.
Brilliant.
No love for my Golden State Warriors?
Dane Moore at Dane Moore NBA, the Dane Moore NBA podcast, available all over the place. And, Oklahoma City down like 8 points into the fourth quarter last night, blew by Denver like it was tied to a post. But nevertheless, what's up with Oklahoma City? Why can't they run away from these Nuggets? They'll probably bounce them tomorrow night. And if the Wolves win tonight, then Western Conference Finals, I believe, starts Sunday in OKC. But nevertheless, what have you thought of the Thunder this series?
I don't know, man. Jokic is a bad man. That was last night. That was insane.
I know.
I mean, 44 and 15 and 5. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, and it felt like more than that with them throwing everything at him. Man, the Thunder are doing the same thing against Jokic as the Wolves did last year, right? Where they put Towns on Jokic and then to have Rudy coming over to help like that. That was really hard, right? Well, they're doing the same thing, except it's Hartenstein on him with 7 foot whatever Chet Holmgren there. Like, that's tough to score 40-some points on. So I don't know. I think the Thunder are doing the same thing the Wolves were doing a year ago. They're just surviving the brilliance of Nikola Jokic by having a deeper and better team. But they still got to get through this dude who's absolutely insane. And, even if the Thunder are winning, it's showcasing the gap of how much better he is individually than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
So it's super key for the Timberwolves to win tonight, right? To get those extra days into the Western Conference Finals. It's again, yeah. I thought OKC was going to win by 15 or more. I thought they'd blow them out last night and then blow them out in the next one. Okay, they got the money last night. They didn't blow them out, but nevertheless, I think they'll win the next one. I think they sense the urgency of the rest and stuff like that. But for the Wolves, it's super key winning tonight, right?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, if they don't, then they got to go back to San Francisco to play only against the Warriors, but the Warriors with Steph again. So that just, stay away from that when you have the opportunity not to. When you also know that you can absolutely beat this team, right? Without Steph, and you have the home crowd, like, take care of that. But I go back to PA, like the preparation part, and what you were talking about with Finch the other day, of like, if they can finish this here, and then the Denver and Oklahoma City series goes 7, I don't think we get game 1 until next Tuesday, which gives you 3-4 practice days. With that stuff, I think we've learned with this team of being able to simulate coverages and really prepare for the next series does a world of help. You think about the Phoenix series in the first round last year where they avoided the play and had that whole week off. Think about the Lakers series. When this team's prepared, is a lot more ready to go game 1 rather than this Warriors series that happened. Game 1 here was very quick and they did not look ready. I think it's as important as anything to just have some time to be able to prepare for a game plan for this Thunder team in advance. Just take care of business tonight. Don't mess around with any Steph Curry storylines, anything like that. You're the better team. Take care of it. That's what I've been at for a week.
And Kerr, after Game 4 in his press conference, said, we'll have an update on Steph Wednesday. Well, it's Wednesday, and maybe you've seen something I haven't seen. I know he's not playing tonight, but, would you expect him Game 6 in San Francisco?
I feel like that's been kind of like a weird assumption. It's a hamstring, right, man? Like, we know this is like the one thing that you can't really just drag yourself through playing with, right? Like, he's got a hamstring bug going on there. That's easy to re-injure and hurt. Like, I think that if he does come back in Game 6, like, the most likely outcome is he gives it a try and then you feel it and then you can't go, or you play for a quarter. So, yes, I don't think it's any guarantee that he comes back in Game 6 or that he comes back in Game 6 and is able to go. That said, it's Steph Curry. Just it's good to avoid that altogether if you're the Wolves.
So you think Anthony Edwards' left hand is more potent than his right off the dribble?
I don't know, man. It feels like it goes in more.
Right.
And I think part of it is I'm coming down at you. I'm looking to get to a pull-up with my right hand, and you're trying to contest it. Like, your body's going to be leaning towards my right hip, right? So if I can go left on you, there's just there's more space there. So I think it looks more explosive when he goes left, but I think there's no like fall off in ball skill for him going left or finishing with his left. I think the biggest thing with Ant is they're like, man, let's get some more of those layups from the basket to go in. And I think the clip you're referencing from Twitter, I feel like those go in when he gets a little bump in the lane with his left more than it does with his right. Maybe it's because they're not expecting it or whatever. There's that weird psychology of it. But Ant is nasty going left.
Just a couple to close here with Dane Moore, lead NBA mind. Wolves and Warriors, KFAN tonight. It's Horton and Peterson, FM 100.3, KFAN. Nas being able to grab boards and trigger the break. Saw that via your Twitter feed. I mean, we've talked about it before, and it is wonderful with what they're able to do with Nas getting a rebound, and there they go. But how much of an advantage is that for Finch and the gang? It's kind of big, right?
Yeah, the reason I was thinking about that is that, like, you watch the Wolves play defense, and the conceptually, right, it's like ball pressure all the way out because you got Rudy or the bigs back at the rim. There's kind of just this, like, understanding that you're going to get beat sometimes, right? But Rudy's back there at the rim or Nas is back there at the rim. And what I feel like ends up happening when you're in like a ball pressure situation like that is, the ball's going to be loose. They're going to turn the ball over, and it's going to often get turned over to the big. So I think the clip you're referencing there is like showcasing how when Nas gets a steal on defense, he can grab it and he can go. What's Rudy going to do in that spot, right? It's no shade to Rudy, really, but, like, right. Rudy's not going to just grab that and, like, sprint up the floor and be like, all right, who's on my left, who's on my right? Like, Nas can do that, and I just think there's a lot of value in it. To be fair, didn't Nas have he had 5 turnovers in the last game, and that's always kind of the balance with him is like, okay, that's cool, you're tall and you're athletic and fast and all that, but, like, let's also keep control of the ball. But Nas is a special passer and a special player, like in movement up the floor. You just got to kind of, as is the case, like keep it calm. Let's not get a bunch of fouls. Let's not get a bunch of turnovers. Rely on your talent and athleticism. Play smart. And Nas is special, man. I mean, look at him compared to a lot of these other guys in the playoffs right now. Is he not one of the most talented bigs in the entire NBA? I mean, it's just showcased at this level. When he's playing smart, he's a weapon, but a huge weapon for this team in that he gets them out in transition, making their defense turn into offense. Is what I think you were getting at.
What are you thinking about DiVincenzo this series? And I know the low-hanging fruit is to look at it like it's been substandard. He's scrappy. I mean, he fouls so much at times. I thought he'd be hitting more threes, but maybe nearing the end or in the second half of that game 4, he did some decent things, hit a nice 3. Maybe starting to come together a little bit. Do you sense that?
Yeah, I felt like, I mean, as you said, he's really struggled with his shot throughout the whole playoffs, and so that's been a disappointment. That's kind of what his main thing is, right? But through that Lakers series, getting deflections, getting steals, putting some pace into the game, you really were feeling his value. This series has been harder, though, man. Like, I don't know. There's been even less of those discernible positives amongst the shooting woes. I think, he's thinking about it some. He's one of those when we've interviewed him over the course of the season and you're asking him about a hot stretch of shooting he has, he's like, I don't think about anything with my shot. Whenever I think about anything with my shot, it gets in the way of highs or lows. So I think he's just one of those guys that's going to have extended cold streaks and extended hot streaks. I'm not saying that's a good thing. It hurts the Wolves right now that Dante DiVincenzo is not a bankable offensive production piece. But he can be. And I do think this round or the next, there's going to be one of those games where you're like, all right, Dante DiVincenzo made 6 of his 9 threes, and it feels like the Wolves won the game because of that. He didn't just become a bad shooter. I just think he's in his head right now, and that's kind of compounding into other issues around the floor that are, I don't know. He isn't playing very well right now. I wouldn't be take him out of the rotation and put in Jalen Clark or something like that. I keep the faith.
Well, you last one here. I mean, you have to go game by game. trip by trip, tweet by tweet, and Dane Moore NBA podcast by Dane Moore NBA podcast. You have to do that to stay sane. But do you permit yourself at all to dream a bit about a Knicks-Wolves NBA Finals and Karl Anthony Towns and Tibbs and Target Center and Ant and Finchie? I mean, that and DiVincenzo and Julia, that would be insane.
I'm not going to swear. It would be insane, yes. It's just, the NBA is weird right now, man. Like, it's going to be one of those seasons where there's at least one weird team in the NBA Finals, which means there's a chance that there could be a weird team that wins the NBA Finals. And I can't think of two weirder teams than the New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves to be those teams and maybe against each other, right? Like, individually or collectively if they play against each other.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I thought the Knicks had no shot against this Boston team. And they've just worked them, so far. I didn't really think I thought this Wolves team had some more maturing, honestly, to do before they were going to be a conference finalist team. But the opportunities here, man, for both of those teams. And I think that's why there's a real impetus on both Tom Thibodeau and Chris Finch right now to be like, yo guys, this is a shot, a real shot at it. And they don't come around often, man. I don't know, with Wemby and Cooper Flagg and all this and that that's coming around, every team that's in this right now has a shot to get that Dirk championship, right? Or that Kawhi with the Raptors championship.
Right.
That's on the table right now, for the Timberwolves included. This is, and I don't mean that to take away from the Thunder. The Thunder deserve to be the favorites of this, but I don't know. The Wolves take care of business tonight and the Thunder take care of business tomorrow. They at least got to play the games. And I assure you that Anthony Edwards is not walking into that series thinking that the Minnesota Timberwolves are in any way deficient to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that in and of itself gives you a pretty good shot at going to the NBA Finals. And so I don't know. We'll see what happens on the other side of the bracket over there. But I'm going to feel like I'm in some weird dream if I'm walking around Target Center for game one and I see Julius Randle walking down one hallway and Karl Anthony Towns walking down the other way. And I'm like, what happened?
And the Wolves, when we were discussing getting out of that play-in situation, I mean, they like all teams just took some fat, bad L's this year. That Saturday, Randle got hurt against the Wizards. Wizards hadn't won a road game in 2 months. You got the Utah 1 point bit without Ant, coupled to Portland, and New Orleans, Indiana with all the starters, just the whole thing. But for my taste, and maybe because I was in attendance with my son, when Tibbs and Cat rolled in there on that weekday night and basically opened a 30-point lead on the Wolves in 5 minutes, that was a low point for me this season. That was a terrible night. Remember that?
Yeah, dude, but you remember what the high point of the season was? And honestly, where the tables turned? It was January 17th at MSG, where Julius was like, oh, okay, I'm going to be a playmaker. I'm going to be a triple-double guy. I'm going to stop going for 30. That's where that shit shifted, man. And now they found that. So, yeah, they got pumped by the Knicks early in the season. But I feel like the second Knicks game in the middle of January was the turning point because Julius Randle found himself there at Madison Square Garden. That's what ask Finch where the season turned around. He points to that game against the Knicks.
Right.
Julius specific.
You lastly, it's cool that you had coffee with one of my very best friends, Tim Siegley, the owner of First Resource Bank. Just one of the kindest, quirkiest people you're ever going to meet. He loves the Timberwolves and he loves your podcast. So thanks for doing that, man.
Yes, of course, man. Appreciate the hookup there, and we'll see how far we go into these playoffs and where the Wolves go, man.
You're terrific. Thank you very much, Dane. Enjoy the game tonight. All right.
All right, brother. Later.
See you, bud. Dane Moore at Dane Moore NBA, Dane Moore NBA podcast. That was the marathon segment, courtesy of Steve's Appliances and Steve'sAppliances.com. Steve's Appliances, you say. Fast delivery, free recycling, guaranteed low prices on all dim appliances. So if you want to save money on like an Amana top load washing machine, or maybe get like $100, $200 off a microwave, stevesappliances.com. Sneaking up on the middle part of the radio show, some Vikings and schedule-related conversation next, followed by Brett's Bits and Brett's Bets and News du Nord, or is it Sports Essentials, or is it a sports update on the Flirty 1130? That'll take place 2 segments from now. After that, the great KG, one of my best friends, Kevin Gorg, will be in studio chatting not only Preakness Steaks, but some puck with Brett's guy, Granny. I think Granny had a hat trick last night. I think it was a grand trick. And Dallas beat the Winnipeg Jets. That topic and some wild off-season related conversation with Senor Spotty about 30 minutes from now. And in that first segment at about 11:03, the great Eddie Olczyk from NBC Sports and TNT. Eddie is going to join KG and I about 30 minutes from now. You're listening to FM 100.3 KFAN. This is your audio home for everything funky and fun. This is your audio home for all the professional sports teams who matter most in this town, including some D1 college teams. And this is your audio home for the Cash Thing.
The Cash Thing, the fan, and BigDeck.com. Want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with their national cash contest. Head to KFAN.com. Enter the keyword green. The keyword green. KFAN.com, keyword green.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hi, this is Debbie, your Blinds.com design consultant.
Oh, wow. A real person.
Yep. I'm here to help you with everything from selecting the perfect window treatments to...
Well, I've got a complicated project.
No problem. We make the complex simple. And I can even help schedule a professional measure and install.
I didn't realize you did that.
Yeah. We can also send you samples, fast and free.
Wow. I mean, I always thought I needed a designer to come to my home, but scheduling's always a nightmare.
Not with Blinds.com. We're on your schedule, and there's no haggling, no pressure, no hidden fees either.
I just might have to do more.
Oh, okay. Whatever you need. How about you tell me what you had in mind?
Okay, then. So the first room we're looking at is for guests coming over.
Blinds.com has covered over 25 million windows, all backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Shop Blinds.com now and get up to 50% off with minimum purchase. Rules and restrictions may apply.
The Fan of Sioux Cup Manufacturing bring you Fan on the Farm starting May 19th, 9 noon. We'll be taking your tractor talkbacks. Each day, one farmer will be chosen to receive a Sioux Cup prize pack, including a Carhartt cooler and a Brewmate Growler canteen. Get full details, KFAN.com/farm. Sioux Cup Manufacturing Company, helping farmers feed and fuel the world.
No love for my Golden State Warriors?
Judy Eby.
Greatest game in NBA history, without question.
Come on now, wake up.
9 to noon at 10:37. Welcome back. Paul Allen, Brett Blakemore producing. Nordo expected to return Monday. And it's your mom's birthday. Shout her out.
Yeah, mom's birthday. Mary listing somewhere in the cornfields of Iowa. 62. So happy birthday to Mom. I'll already called her a couple times today, so I'm sure we'll be chatting.
The first time was to wish her happy birthday. Undoubtedly, if you're a child like I was around your age, the second time was to get money.
I always loved that one.
Hang on. How do you spell Mom?
Zelle. Or is that how you spell it? Zell, or Venmo.
I spell Mom ATM.
Well, when you're
right, Dan Cole.
Well, when you're at the racetrack with me, It's the PATM.
I always love that one.
When I got to go to that sucker after getting stuck playing blackjack. Mary's her name?
Yes.
Mary Blakemore. Happy birthday. Let me ask you a couple questions, all right?
Okay.
How badly do you miss Lionel Messi?
I always love that one.
How badly do you miss him? Just his presence, his aura, the Messi jerseys at Allianz, adjacent to the pitch, the aura. Lionel Messi, do you find yourself staring longingly out of windows because you miss him so badly?
It was quite the experience to see it in person. I'm more thankful that I got to go and see it because it probably will not happen again.
But you love him, right?
Or I think he's the best of all time.
Yes,
so,
really?
Yeah, I think
Pele
he's the greatest to do
right?
it. Again, Pele never played in Europe, and that's he won Champions Leagues.
Okay.
Messi, he won World Cups. So yeah, he's done it all.
Elite, beautiful game mind. Franz Beckenbauer played in Europe. He's from Germany, and he played for the New York Cosmos.
I always love that one.
Why you got to slight Franz Beckenbauer like that when you're talking about worldly prowess?
Who?
Franz Beckenbauer, man. Don't be one of those snot-nosed kids who only knows about Ronaldinho, Bend It Like Beckham, Messi, Maradona, and his off-pitch exploits, and you disrespect the past with players like Pele, Franz Beckenbauer, and Ricky Davis.
I always love that one.
Do you even know who any of those guys are except for Pele?
No.
You don't know who Franz Beckenbauer is?
Is he the one musician? The Franz? Oh, that's Ferdinand.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Honestly, what do I look like? Freddie Adu? I have no idea what position he played.
One. Yeah.
But right. I mean, you love the game, so love the history of the game. There were a lot of things that transpired in the world pre-Double B 28 years ago. You with me on that?
I understand.
Yeah, so don't be one of those kids, okay?
Yeah, I'm an elite Boyd Dowler mind and Bart Starr and all that stuff. I got it.
What about Johnny Blood McNally?
Oh, one of my favorites.
Johnny Blood McNally. He's
How about Three Fingers Mordecai Brown? How about that?
Ooh, I don't think
That's a baseball player.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think he's on the Lambeau Field.
No,
the ring bit, but Johnny Blood McNally is, man. Granny had a hat trick last night, right?
Yeah, he was really good.
Damn,
really good.
So what are they up 3-1 on the peg?
Yeah, it's looking like they're going to close it out. And again, if Pat were here, I'd get to take another victory lap because I've been calling the Stars to the Western. That's one of my Brett's bets, by the way. If we recall, was Stars to the Western Conference Final.
Yeah.
We're one game away from doing that. So
absolutely.
People need to start taking me seriously here.
Oh, no, you're playing fast. Yeah. And what you're doing is by chastising those for not thinking you're playing fast or seeing things clearly, what it is it's tearing down others to feel better about yourself. And that's okay because I do it all the time, sadly. But see, I have my reasons. Your reason for doing that is one thing and one thing only. It's how much you miss Messi. Honestly.
Yeah.
Can you think about how excited you were up to that game being adjacent to the pitch? Then your squad wins. And if Inter Miami is going to get a goal, let it be by Messi. I mean, seriously, you tried to storm the field and security had to hold you back. And the only reason you did not get ejected from the game is because you told them you worked for KFAN. And they said, okay, just go back to your seat. I mean, you're not downtrodden, but you're super snarky right now. Simply because you miss Messi, man, and I'm kind of feeling your pain right now, Double B.
It's affecting my mood, PA.
Well, it should.
Just thinking about him,
you miss him
slicing and dicing through the midfield, and then him walking back on defense because he doesn't get paid to play defense.
Those corners,
it's a magical thing.
Those corners, the bicycle kicks, and everything. Holy cow!
Hashtag Faith Radio.
Any Packers leaks schedule wise? Any leaks you've seen on the tweet machine regarding the the old Green Bay Packers and the schedule that will be.
There is, which is weird because it kind of goes against some of the whispers around town that the Packers are opening with the Lions at Lambeau Field, according to Jordan Schultz.
Really?
So that's what they Sunday.
Oh, wait, Jordan Schultz, the Fox guy?
Yeah.
Who got into it with Ian Rappaport at the Combine in a Starbucks line in which I've stood 1,000 times, but I just didn't happen to be there at that time. No! That's not him? No,
I think that's him.
Oh, that's him.
I'm not sure.
Oh, no, that's him, man. And it was hot and it was weird.
But it is the Fox guy in question. So, yeah, the Packers open the season at home against Jared Goff and the Lions Sunday, September 7th, 4:25 Eastern.
Interesting. From a Minnesota Vikings standpoint, the old schedule release day. From a Rumorsville, USA standpoint, and we have so many elite football minds out there, you probably already know this or you wouldn't be listening to 9 to Noon. The cultivation of elite football minds, leader. This is 9 to Noon, your audio home for everything funky and fun.
Amen, brother!
Week 4, Pittsburgh at Ireland. We got that. Week 5, at Tottenham against Stefanski. We got that. Week 6, bye. All of that's confirmed by the copyright Dan Cole, the common man, soon to be Super Bowl champion, Minnesota Vikings.
Copyright Dan Cole.
There was a rumor yesterday the Vikings were going to open at Ford Field week 1. But holy cow, we have battling rumors. I'd prefer Green Bay at Lambeau or at Ford Field?
At Lambeau.
At Lambeau week 1, that'd be kind of cool. The Kitties, you see, because the Packers are, at least have been, the target at which to shoot in the division, like longer than the Vikings. All right, so the Vikings are a fair country target at which to shoot. Good squad, 14 wins, storied franchise, stuff like that. But Green Bay, it's 2013. I think we had 3 wins. It's just like Green Bay hasn't had as many of those deep fall offs like the Vikings have. So what I'm getting at here is you can tell, and you being a Packers fan, and I'm not doing the shoe size contest here, this is fact. When Dan Campbell took over the Motor City Kitties, because I either know coaches who were there and aren't there anymore, or people within their covenant. He basically laid it out. We got to start beating these guys, and we got to beat them every time. And you know what? There have been many years, whether it's Aaron to Richard Rodgers on this Hail Miracle stuff, or they're blowing us out or whatever. I think Dan Campbell laid it out like, I want it so they never beat us again. I don't think they've lost. I don't think Detroit's lost to the Green Bay Packers since Campbell took over. They win at Lambeau basically every time, right?
It's been a few years.
See what I'm saying? So Campbell came in there and he's like, no, this ain't it. As the kids would say, this ain't it. All these losses to the green and gold. We'll deal with the purple and gold when we have to. And fall down, Chicago Bear. Ha, 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 ha. You're always in last, but da-da-da. Fall down, Chicago Bear. So I don't necessarily think they were part of the conversation. It was mostly Green Bay, some Minnesota. But Campbell laid down an edict when he got there, knowing that they were going to have a rough season like they did his first year. But then after that is we're winning at Lambeau every time, and they're never going to beat us again.
Yeah, so his record against the Packers, 6-2, and undefeated at Lambeau since Campbell took over. So, yeah, it's been a while, and it's a good record. I will say this, though. If this is true, that the Lions are going to Lambeau week 1, the new offensive coordinator, maybe a new system, maybe a little rust on them. We've had the same system for years, PA. I think if we're going to get them and we're going to beat them, I think it's a good little advantage for us. That's my green and gold spin zone, brought to you by nobody.
And the silence you hear is Lambeau Field.
So with the Vikings, accepting Dublin and London back-to-back, then a bye, that's historical. Ooh. Let's pause and we'll get back into this in a little bit, okay? Because we have Brett's Bets, News du Nord or Sports Essentials or Sports Update. at Flirty 1130, AM 1130 KFAN. But nevertheless, I'm curious to see what the NFL does with the Vikings' first 3 games, given they've accepted this meat grinder to play across the pond back-to-back games. More on that around the corner. You're listening to KFAN. Go with it now.
Number 1.
The A topic continues to be your Minnesota Timberwolves. They can close it out tonight. Wolves in 5. Pregame starting at 7 from the cage. Pregame at 7. Tip at 8:30. Regular pregame at 8. All right here on the Fan. You can listen to all of it on 100.3 or the free iHeartRadio app. We've got you covered for Wolves Talk. You've talked to Alan Horton. You've talked to Dane Moore. What is your vibe going into Game 5?
T-Wolves, 10.5, 11-point favorites this evening. They've gone to jacking around with some of these games against the Warriors, but it's Kerr-a-check. All right, so Steve Kerr is going to offer up absolutely everything his squad has to offer to keep this thing competitive tonight. I mean, we have competing opinions here because we have the Vox Alan Horton, who 90 minutes ago was like, it's a hammy. I can't see Steph not only playing in the series, but probably the rest of the playoffs. He ain't going to play. And he was speculating. Then we had elite basketball mind Dane Moore like 25 minutes ago, and he was like, I don't know, got a weird feeling Steph would play in Game 6. So how about we just don't have a Game 6 and we make it a hump day hysteria closing time covenant Wednesday at Target Center? I firmly expect the Timberwolves to win tonight. As I said yesterday, I thought Oklahoma City, I said blowout Denver in games 5 and 6. Well, they didn't blow them out. They were down 8 into the final quarter. They won by 7. But I think they'll win at Denver tomorrow night. So if the Wolves win tonight and OKC wins tomorrow night, Western Conference finals from Oklahoma City commences Sunday on FM 100.3. Hiya, I am.
Number 2.
By the way, this is provided by Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. The Preakness Stakes is 3 days from today. It's Saturday, featuring journalism, runner-up in the Kentucky Derby. Watch and wager, be a part of history, advance wager on the race. Also, we have concerts coming up. I think the Beach Boys are playing at Canterbury very, very, very soon. So learn about that, learn about barrel racing, learn about the rodeo, and learn about the rodeo known as live horse racing, which begins a week from Saturday, May 24th, 5 o'clock. CanterburyPark.com. CanterburyPark.com, though.
Number 2.
Well, I've got some controversial Vikings news.
What do you have?
Copyright Dan Cole.
This also comes from Jordan Schultz. The Vikings will host NFC North rival Lions on Christmas Day, December 25th, Week 17, in a game that will be on Netflix. The game will be on Netflix. Vikings, Lions, Christmas Day. What do you think?
Ho, ho, ho. I've called Christmas Day games before. They're not preferred. Never done one here. We had a Christmas Day game in Baltimore.
Personal foul. Clipping.
Several years ago. It was, what was that quarterback's name for the Ravens? We lost. That was like 05, something like that. It's part of the deal, man. I mean, you sign up for the job to play, to coach, to media relate, to call, to analyze all that. And if that's where the game falls, that's where the game falls. If you don't like it, don't do the job.
Number 3.
Twins rained out yesterday in Baltimore. They will have a double header today. Ober goes for game 1. Woods Richardson goes for game 2. They're going for their 9th straight win. So after today, they could have a 10-game winning streak, and they'd be, well, at least a couple games over 500.
And noted Twins aficionado and dedicated fan to the Twinigmatics and the red, white, and blue of baseball immortality is Kevin Gorg from FanDuel Sports Network. And KG is going to join us in studio around the corner. We have myriad things about which to chat, including converse with Eddie Olczyk of NBC and TNT. Eddie Olczyk is horse racing and hockey immortality. He joins Senor Spotty and yours truly around the corner on your audio home for everything that's funky and fun. FM 100.3, the kids call it KFAN.
Does Friendly have a taste? If it does, it's probably like Hello's peppermint-flavored anti-plaque and whitening toothpaste. Brush away plaque, show tartar who's boss, and remove surface stains to naturally whiten. Hello's thoughtful and flavor-forward products make brushing your teeth feel like a confetti-filled bathroom dance party. So say hello to Hello with the always cruelty-free, never tested on animals toothpaste that's made to spread smiles. Visit HelloProducts.com and let Hello add some everyday yay into your life.
Okay, have you heard about this? Last year, Degree changed the formula for their Cool Rush deodorant. Their fans rebelled and wanted the old scent back. And Degree listened. That doesn't happen often.
They admitted that they effed up and are bringing the original Cool Rush scent back. And it's exactly how you remember it. Cool, crisp, and fresh. There's a reason it's the #1 men's antiperspirant, and it's back in Walmart, Target, and other stores for under $4.
So try it and see what the fuss is about. Head to your local stores to try the OG Cool Rush for yourself.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Have you ever felt that uneasy anxiety when the 4 p.m. hour strikes? The creeping meal-related distress that happens when you don't quite feel prepared? You know, dinner dread. Let's get rid of that unpleasant feeling forever with one word. Stouffer's. No matter what happens, you'll have a dinner plan that everyone loves with Stouffer's. Some chicken enchiladas or a cheesy chicken and broccoli pasta bake is always welcome, whether it's Plan A or Plan D-licious. When the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's. Shop now for family favorites.